The tower in the forest. Come on, Lily, let's go. Sophie's voice echoed with excitement, her breath fogging in the crisp morning air as she adjusted her backpack. The two sisters stood at the edge of the village, looking into the thick woods that bordered their home. Beyond the forest, legend whispered of a hidden tower, a place no one had dared to explore for generations. Lily hesitated, clutching her own pack tightly. Are you sure about this? It's not like the others in the village haven't warned us to stay out of the forest. I know, Sophie said, rolling her eyes. But haven't you always wanted to see what lies beyond the trees? Besides, what's the harm in a little adventure? The two girls, barely in their teens, had grown up hearing tales of strange things deep within the forest, mysterious lights, creatures that danced among the trees, and a tower that no one had ever fully explored. It was rumored to be abandoned, but the stories still stirred their imaginations. Sophie, the older of the two, was a natural adventurer, while Lily was more cautious, always weighing the risks before making any decision. But today, Sophie's enthusiasm had won her over. With a final glance at the familiar path leading into the woods, they stepped into the unknown. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thicker with the scent of pine and damp earth. The trees towered overhead, their branches swaying gently, creating a soft rustling sound that was almost melodic. It was peaceful, serene, but there was something else in the air. A certain energy that neither of the sisters could quite explain. Do you hear that? Lily asked, stopping in her tracks. She had been scanning the trees, her senses alert. Sophie paused and listened. A soft, melodious whistle echoed through the woods, coming from high above. It was faint at first, but then it grew louder, clearer. Sounds like a bird, Sophie said with a grin. Let's follow it. Without waiting for Lily's response, Sophie started walking toward the source of the sound. Lily, although a bit uneasy, followed closely behind, curiosity tugging at her heels. The bird they followed wasn't like any other bird they had seen before. Its feathers shimmered with iridescent hues of blue, green, and gold. It darted from tree to tree with astonishing speed, its song growing softer and louder as it led the sisters through the winding paths of the forest. The deeper they went, the more surreal the experience felt, as though the forest itself was alive, watching them. Where is it taking us? Lily asked, feeling a strange sense of unease. The bird had become more elusive, darting around like a wisp of wind just out of reach. Sophie, however, was undeterred. It's like it's inviting us to follow. Don't worry, Lily. We're almost there. Suddenly, the bird flapped its wings and swooped lower, hovering in front of them for a moment before darting toward a jagged cliffside. The sisters followed, their hearts racing with anticipation. As they reached the cliff's edge, they noticed a narrow set of stone steps carved into the rock, leading down into a hidden hollow beneath the towering cliff. Sophie's eyes widened. This is it. This is where it's leading us. With no more hesitation, Sophie led the way down the winding stairs, the cool stone underfoot making the air feel even colder. The path twisted through narrow openings and around sharp corners, the light dimming with each step they took. But when they finally reached the bottom, the sight that greeted them took their breath away. The bird, now perched on a low branch, watched them carefully as they stepped into a small, rocky courtyard. In the center of the space stood a weathered, yet majestic tower, its stone walls thick with moss, but still standing proud. Ivy and flowering vines cascaded down the sides, and windows peeked out from every level, though most were boarded up or hidden behind thick layers of plants. The sisters exchanged a glance, their eyes wide with awe. This was the tower they had heard about in the village stories. Let's go inside, Sophie whispered, her voice filled with excitement. They approached the tower cautiously, but as they reached the base, something strange happened. The beautiful bird flew toward them again, its glistening feathers catching the light. Before they could even react, the bird snatched the chain from Sophie's neck, the simple silver necklace that had been passed down from their grandmother. Hey! Sophie exclaimed, trying to catch the bird, but it was already soaring toward one of the tower's windows. The bird landed on a sill and chirped, almost as if beckoning them to follow. I think it wants us to come inside, Lily said, her voice low, a bit nervous but intrigued. Sophie, still clutching the spot where her necklace had been, gave a determined nod. We have to get it back. The two sisters carefully entered the tower, their feet crunching against the gravel at the base of the structure. The interior was a mix of shadows and dim light, the air thick with the smell of aged wood and stone. It was quiet except for the soft flapping of the bird's wings as it fluttered through the tower's upper levels. The inside of the tower was nothing like they expected. The walls were adorned with strange symbols, some faded, others still bright and clear. Shelves lined the walls, filled with dusty old books, odd trinkets, and mysterious objects. A large, ornate mirror stood against one wall, reflecting the dim light of the space, its surface slightly cloudy. Lily's eyes widened in amazement. This place, it feels like something out of a fairy tale. I know, Sophie said, her gaze fixed on the bird, which had now perched on a high beam above them. But where's my necklace? The bird chirped and fluttered its wings again, almost as if it understood her frustration. It darted into a corner of the room, where a small wooden chest sat. With a few swift movements, it lifted the lid with its beak, revealing the silver chain nestled inside. Sophie hurried forward and carefully retrieved her necklace from the chest. Thank you, she murmured, glancing at the bird. The bird gave one last, gentle chirp before flying toward the open window and disappearing into the trees. For a moment, the sisters stood in silence, taking in the tower's mysteries. The place was undeniably beautiful, almost magical in its quiet solitude. Sophie's curiosity was now mixed with awe, and even Lily, normally cautious and reserved, felt a sense of wonder creeping over her. We should look around more, Sophie said, already heading toward one of the shelves. As they explored, they found various fascinating objects, ancient maps, glass bottles filled with strange powders, an old quill and ink set, and a collection of paintings depicting various scenes of the forest, its creatures, and the tower itself. One painting in particular caught Lily's eye, a portrait of a woman standing beside the tower, dressed in flowing robes and holding a glowing orb. The woman's eyes were filled with an otherworldly light. This must be the one who lived here, Lily whispered, tracing the woman's face with her fingers. I think so, Sophie replied. This tower must have had an owner long ago. They spent the next hour thoroughly exploring the tower's rooms, discovering hidden passageways and secret chambers filled with strange artifacts. The deeper they went, the more they realized that the tower was not just a relic of the past, but a place steeped in mystery and perhaps even magic. Eventually, the sisters made their way back outside, the setting sun casting an amber glow over the forest. They climbed back up the stone steps, reluctant to leave the tower behind, but knowing they had to return home before nightfall. The journey back through the forest was filled with quiet contemplation. Both sisters were lost in their thoughts, reflecting on the strange adventure they had just experienced. As they reached the edge of the woods, Lily turned to Sophie. Do you think we should tell everyone about the tower? She asked, her voice soft. Sophie thought for a moment. I think we should. But we should tell them in a way that makes the tower special, not just as some old, forgotten place, but as a place full of mystery and history. The village has always been curious about the forest. Maybe this is a way to share it with them. And so they did. When they returned to the village, they told their neighbors about the tower, describing its beauty and the sense of wonder they had felt inside. Word spread quickly, and soon, the village elders were organizing groups to explore the tower safely. People from all around began visiting, some to admire the tower's architecture, others to search for hidden treasures, while still others simply wanted to connect with the forest's enigmatic energy. The tower became a symbol of the village's adventurous spirit, a reminder that there was always more to discover just beyond the familiar. The once quiet corner of the forest became a place of curiosity, exploration, and community, a place where magic still lingered in the air. And though Sophie and Lily would always treasure the memory of their first visit, they also knew that they had given the tower something even more valuable, a future.